Welcome everybody. Welcome to Wednesday's episode of Surviving and Thriving Through the COVID Virus Challenges we're currently facing. My name's Chris Fordy. We've got a great session this afternoon. We're going to talk about pivoting your business, pivoting what you do, how you do it, and how we can work better with existing clients, new clients, looking at existing products and services. So we've got a great guest speaker a bit later on. Harry will be on with us a little bit later on, talking about how he's managed to pivot his business quite significantly over the last few weeks. So let's get started. So as you know, our key goal right now is to help as many businesses as we can. We're very much focused into, originally, I guess, when the whole situation started, we set a goal of helping and supporting as many businesses and jobs survive through this challenge. We're very much now, as well as that, focusing back on how to thrive, how to grow during and the other side of this challenge. And we work with many businesses right now that really focus on the opportunities that exist in the current situation, not just the challenges we currently face. So hopefully you guys are feeling that too, and we will go through some great information. So yeah, please keep joining us. Let us know how we can help. Just keep letting us know how we can help you effectively. Any topics for any of these webinars, any people you think we should be interviewing and talking to about how they're working through these challenges, anything like that, please keep us posted. We typically send an email out at the end of every session, so you can respond to that and let us know how we can help you best. Please take advantage of these webinars, but also the gifted coaching sessions. If you need a bit of help or maybe just some support, maybe some motivation, just get in touch. We're really happy to give away and gift typically half-an-hour sessions, but they can be longer if necessary. But we're really here to help. And please, obviously, to spread the word, please let other people know about how we can help them. Get them on the webinars, let them know about the sessions. We're here to help anybody in any way we can. So just as we start, as we typically do, if you could share your thoughts with us in the chat box. So if you haven't done this before, if you look at the toolbar, you'll probably have towards the bottom of your screen, there should be a chat icon there, or if not, in the more dots, put chat and just say how you're feeling and rate yourself out of 10 today. So let's see how we're feeling today. I'm a 9. I'm normally a 10. I've got a slight twinge in my back, which is making me a 9. But I'm sure after today and listening to Harry and working with you guys, I'll be back up at a 10. We've got a couple of 8s. Hi Peter, nice to see you. Deb's great 8s. Damien's an 8. Well, looks like we're 8s today. That's great. And what we're going to do at the end is just see how you're feeling towards the end of the session. See if we've hopefully given you a bit of motivation, a bit of enthusiasm back into where we're going. So keep letting us know how you get on with that. So just going on to where we are right now, and most people have seen this presentation we've done before, but I'm just going to really just suggest that for most of the people we're talking to right now and helping, we've come out of that sort of initial uncertainty phase of lockdown. We weren't sure how to deal with things, what's happening. Most people we're working with are looking to the future, and we're looking into this opportunity phase, which is how we train, how we change, how we train, how we plan for the future in terms of not just actually when we come out of lockdown and into the sprint phase, but right now. Plenty of businesses we're working with, and Harry's going to talk to you about the business he's doing right now, are doing great business. Not all of them, many a challenge, we totally get that. But again, whether you think you can, think you can't, you're probably right. So what can we do right now to do more business? And we're going to spend today talking about how Harry in his business has really pivoted and changed, but also talk you through any areas that you feel would be useful to help you pivot and change in the short term and the longer term, because the sprint will come. I'm starting to, last couple of days, I don't know about you guys, but people are talking about when lockdown's gonna finish rather than if, and what it's going to look like. So really, it could be a lot sooner than we think. I feel, but it's only a feeling. We don't know right now. Harry's a 9. Good, Harry. Well, hopefully you'll motivate yourself to a 10 a bit later on. How's everyone feeling? Just interested, maybe in the chat box. Is everyone feeling the same as me, that we're through this sort of initial uncertainty phase? We're looking to the future. We still don't know when lockdown's coming out. We're coming out of lockdown, but we do need to be focusing on the future, not just the present of dealing with the situation. It's interesting to get anyone's views right now, but stick them in the chat box if you'd like to. I can't see anything coming through yet. lots of restlessness going around. I agree, Harry. Would you say that's positive or negative restlessness? I guess it's just a desire to get out there. I'm certainly in that mode. Yeah, both. Yeah, I think there's still uncertainty. I'm dealing with businesses that are in different fields. Some are more challenged than others. Some are not sure what's going to happen. And I think people are talking now about a tiered coming out of lockdown, i.e. who'd been the first tier, who'd been the second tier. So it'd be quite interesting to see how things happen. I'm pretty sure we're going to get more information tomorrow evening. I think Boris Johnson is be speaking tomorrow night at 5. More people getting in touch about many jobs going. Yeah, love learning to surrender and been writing my first book. Brilliant, Debs. Fantastic. Well, that's exciting times. Maybe we can talk to you about that book later on. What's the title? Perhaps you could put your title in the chat box. It'd be great to find out. Great. Okay, so can't tell you. Okay, Deb. I think just most people actually have got all panelists rather than all panelists and attendees. If you want to do attendees, everyone could see your comments if you'd like them to. Peter's working hard on plans to be able to continue building so he can actively help support the recovery rather than speed up a dip. Completely agree, Peter. A lot of people are talking down the situation, quite understandably so. But you know what? A lot of people that are most successful through recessions just didn't know they were happening. So maybe we could just think about what we can do. Okay, guys. So a couple of key things for you. If we were in opportunity, we're looking at training, warming up, changing. We're going to talk about pivoting today. So as well as Harry's example, we're going to see if we can help you guys and just see if anyone else has got any other things they're working on. Now, the challenge with pivoting, I think, is it could feel like it's a massive change. Maybe a whole different client base, maybe a whole different way of delivering or developing or selling what we've got to do. Maybe we have to change all our products. So it sometimes feels like a massive task, like a big elephant. But the lovely phrase I like is the easiest way to eat an elephant is basically one bite at a time, just step by step by step. Now, many of you have been on our planning afternoons, typically on Tuesday. If anyone here would like to attend or re-attend, let us know. We haven't got one booked yet. Not for vegan steps. No, sorry. Yeah, well, perhaps we need to think about something that's more vegan friendly next time. I wouldn't want to eat an elephant anyway for lots of different reasons. But yeah, let's think about just step by step. If anyone's interested in one of our afternoon planning sessions online, we're really happy to do those, and we'll probably definitely put one in the next 2 weeks, whether it's next Tuesday or the following Tuesday afternoon. So we'll keep you posted on that. And you know, what's your target? I mean, the key thing for me now is what's the target for the other side of coming out of lockdown? Where do you want to be by Christmas or September or maybe this time next year? Because as Jim Rohn says, you can't hit a target you don't set. And if you don't set it, we don't know where we're going. We don't have direction. We don't have momentum. That's what targets and goals really give us. So let's think about what our targets need to be. Launch your book by the end of 2020, Debs. Fantastic. Great. Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully when you tell us the title, we can go and order it from the bookshop. I'll look forward to that with lots of pleasure. So now let's talk about marketplace. So we're going to talk about pivoting, and then we're going to get Harry to take us through what he's done, his thought process, and what he's actually achieved, because it's a pretty cool story, I have to say. So maybe for some of us, we need to address new markets. So maybe the people that were buying what we have and what we had aren't buying them now, but maybe somebody else is. There are businesses and individuals that are flourishing right now. We've talked about some areas of recruitment, some areas of the legal practice, clearly cleaning businesses potentially. There's a whole range of businesses that will be thriving right now. Maybe we need to change them if we're a business to business. If we're business to consumer, maybe it's more about how we deliver to them. So what client type? So one of the first things we always recommend every client does, irrespective of whether we're in a challenging situation or not, is understand what your A-grade clients look like. So not any client, who are the A grades? So let's speak about what A grades are. A-grade clients, they love what you do. They pay full price. They don't quibble on price because they value what you do. They assign to your values and your goals, and they typically recommend you to other people. They absolutely love you. Now, the beauty of that is A-grade clients typically are way more profitable than normal clients because they love what you do. You don't have to spend a lot of time servicing them and dealing with their complaints, and they bring you business because they recommend you to other people. And quite often there'll be testimonials as well. There'll be referrals and references. So who are your A-grade clients? Because maybe it's the time to start marketing just to them. And when we come out the side of this, if you've got a whole raft of new A-grade high profit clients, we can be in a high profit environment. Maybe whether it's to all your clients or just your A-grade, maybe there's some new products and services we can add to what we do, or even replace what we do, to actually gain market share right now and wallet share, get people to be buying from us. Maybe we need to pivot. Maybe some of these things we don't actually currently sell ourselves. Maybe we've got to look at other people's products and services. Just for now, to engage our clients, engage with our clients. Because the key thing is to keep our clients and keep servicing them so that we can continue to service them the other side of the challenges we currently have. In some cases, we've got general products for most people, and we might want to change the products and services to be more tailored for individual markets. So that's going from a broader base of this one size fits all sort of idea to working with people on a more specific basis, and maybe have a set of tailored products and services so they become more attractive to smaller target markets and niches. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe we've been very niche in what we do, and we need to get more generic. We spoke to, on one of the planning sessions, we spoke to Tom McLaughlin, who had a marketing agency primarily servicing the travel industry, and clearly needed to change quite quickly from being niche into one industry into a number of different ones. Now, rather than going for totally generic, Tom has set up different agencies for different businesses or different client types that he has worked with previously. So he has testimonial basis. So I know he's working with architects, I know he's working with recruitment agencies and bathroom and kitchen interior designers and fitters. So maybe it's a combination of pivoting what sort of services we offer. Again, we said, look, let's look at what markets are booming right now and how they're booming. Delivery businesses are booming. How can we service those? Supermarkets clearly have been booming. It's probably changed a little bit now, so maybe there are different types of marketplaces that are booming. Which markets will boom in the sprint phase? So looking to the future, which ones, they may not be booming right now, but which ones should we be addressing? Because if they're going to come in, they're going to be booming in the sprint phase, and the sprint phase isn't that far away, let's make that assumption, then we need to be marketing to them now. We need to have services and products ready and be marketed to them right now. Let's not wait. If we wait, then our competition will be ahead of us. And which markets will be booming once we get to the other side? Now, we're talking about booming. I totally appreciate many people are talking about very significant recessive situation. However, there's always people buying products and services. Even severe recessions are 10, worst case, 20% reduction in GDP. That still means there's 80 to 90% of the people still buying things. Okay, so let's look at the positive or the negative. We've got a choice. We can look at it positively or negatively. My choice is, my suggestion is, if you don't look at things positively, what have you got left? Okay, and while we might talk about big pivots of change of products and services, it may be just lots of different things. It may be lots of different things. I think it's interesting talking to Harry later on that what feels like a significant pivot for him was probably lots of different changes to stuff he was already doing, but in a different way. I don't know if he'd have that view. I'm looking forward to speaking to you a bit later on, Harry. And strategic versus tactical. Clearly, tactical is the now. We need to deal with things right now, but we also do need to spend some of our time on the future, on the longer term strategic view of where the business is going. And there is a great opportunity. Again, it's not something you celebrate, but unfortunately, businesses will go by the wayside during this period. Probably the ones that aren't thinking as positively as they could do, but some will go by the wayside, which means either they might be up for sale as ways of augmenting their own, but their clients will not be being serviced anymore. So their clients could become our clients if we're taking positive action right now to market and sell to them moving forward. Any questions on that? Any ideas? Really happy to help right now. We're going to do a bit of a Q&A later on, and we'll include Harry in on that a bit later. But anyone got any comment or any examples? No, can't see anything coming up. Okay, we'll keep them coming if they do, if you think of anything. So one of the things we're working with 2 or 3 clients right now, given the situation we're in, is looking at the business structure. So maybe the business structure might need to change. And I've had a couple of conversations this morning about things like how important offices are moving forward or will be. Now we've all demonstrated that we can work quite effectively remotely. maybe the typical structures, physical structures we have are maybe less necessary. I was asked what I would do. I think certainly the delivery of our coaching is probably going to stay online a lot more, but I still want a base, to work with the team, but also to bring clients to from a more social perspective. I think it's really important we build community, and there's a social element to building community, which I think is best done on a face-to-face basis. Probably not right now, obviously. Even when we come out of lockdown, we'll have a level of social distancing, but moving forward, I can't ever imagine us not having not meeting our clients face-to-face on a regular basis. Harry's saying social is going to be important online or offline. Totally agree, Harry. Totally agree. And actually, the more community you can build, both offline or online, is really important. So the community parts, the social parts of what we do, are really, really key, even if they're not actually key to delivering our product or service. So looking at first thing, business structure, this is a standard flow business. Marketing, how do we need to change what we're doing? Who's going to do it? How are we going to do it? Where? What channels are we going to use? What's it going to look like on the other side? So marketing, how effective is our marketing right now, and what do we need to pivot and change to make it more and more effective? Clearly online is really important right now, but there are also other mechanisms. What's also true in marketing is there's a good chance a lot of our competition isn't marketing right now. They have mothballed, they have furloughed quite often themselves. So the cost of marketing will be a lot lower right now for those of us that want to invest in something and get a better return. So please bear that in mind. If you know you're looking to a positive future, then think about the investments you make when you make them, because right now is a good time to buy. And maybe there's some brilliant longer term deals to be had. Maybe if you were to do a deal for 12 months marketed right now, you're going to get an absolute steal, I would suggest. So there's a real opportunity right now. We're doing 2 or 3 deals right now on that basis. If you do a longer term deal, because a lot of our suppliers will want to have longer term clients, even if they're willing to take a bit of a dip in the investment levels they take. Who's selling? How are we selling? Clearly, if we used to sell face to face, now we need to sell. We need to sell at the moment online, virtually, by the phone. Maybe by recorded message sometimes. Maybe we need a structure. Potentially e-commerce is a way to go. So there's many, many different ways we can look at selling, but it's probably going to be different. How are we going to produce what we do? For those of us that manufacture and produce things, how do we still deliver production? We had on a similar session to this a couple of weeks ago, a guy called Andy Annett, who typically was doing barbecue events at clients' premises, whether that was corporate or residential clients. So he would actually take his barbecues to certain places to do the events. Now clearly he now delivers, for those of you that came on the session about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but he doesn't actually have a premises for cooking that's local, because he typically took his barbecues away to the client's premises. So he's hired a local rugby club to hire their kitchen to actually do all the food production there. So how do we produce? Who's going to produce, and how are we going to do it? And clearly, split out in this particular example, delivery, because delivery is probably different again. So physical delivery typically needs to be now a delivered or takeaway situation. People can't come and sit and take our product and service with us or at our premises. They can come and take it away, but they can't come and sit and stay. So we do need to look at how we do things differently. And finally, how do we get paid? Maybe the same, maybe different. And also maybe how we charge for our services, maybe breaking it up into smaller chunks, so people make it easy for people to buy right now, when currently maybe they feel their budgets are limited by the concern about how long we're into lockdown. So lots of things to think about there, guys, and hopefully you're thinking about your businesses and how you can develop and change. So in summary, looking at people across all of those areas, who do we have right now? Do we currently need? Because if you don't need them, maybe they should be in furlough. Who don't we need? They might need to furlough. We might need new people with different skills. So it's sensible to be open and honest right now, with ourselves and our team right now, that we may need to bring a couple of extra people in for the skills in the short, medium term to deal with the current situation. But the alternative to that is retraining, and it's a great opportunity to retrain, especially for those of you, I'm sure you're aware of it, you can train while you're being furloughed. If you're furloughed off, you can still train. So we're actually doing quite a lot of training with teams that are furloughed, to help them get ready for what's going to happen on the other side of this, whether it's sales training, marketing training, general time management. There's a whole range of training that can be done that even furloughed staff can do. So please think about retraining your team, whether it's an employment or contract situation. Depending on your view of your financial situation and the risks involved, you may want to look at staff that are a little bit more flexible, a little bit more pay-as-you-go in the short to medium term. And what new systems do we need? If we're changing things, if we're going online, what systems do we need? What reportings do we need? What key performance indicators do we need to know that things are working well? If we're not in an office or in a shop with our team, we don't know what's going on as easily. So key performance indicators and reporting come absolutely critical. So anybody like any help on that, please let us know. We've got a couple of interesting, there's a great ebook we've got that I can share with you on how key performance indicators and reporting can be implemented and the absolute value of them, not just to the management and the owners of a business, but to the team members themselves to demonstrate they're doing great work. Any questions on that? Anything that's useful to cover again, or any comments that you have on those sessions? And then we're going to come on to speak to Harry shortly. Just wait for a second to see if there's any questions. No, I don't think there's anything going on. Great. Well, it's my great pleasure, on that note, to welcome Harry Baines of Love Cheese. So, Harry, I'm going to come and unmute you. Just bear with me, Harry, and I'll talk. Can you hear me, Harry?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Welcome. I certainly can. Welcome to our webinar. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know, and I'm pleased to know that you're really, really busy right now. And that things have been so well. I know we spoke earlier in the week.
Yeah.
And it's great to hear. I've put a few photos up for people before I asked Harry to talk through his journey over the last few weeks. For those who aren't aware, Love Cheese is on, is it Gillygate or Gillygate? I can never know, but I call it Gillygate.
It's Gillygate. It
is Gillygate, thank you, yeah. In York. It's a brilliant cheese and wine shop. I am a relatively regular customer, not just of the shop, but also the lovely cafe and gardens at the back. We've had various business meetings there on a regular basis. Very friendly.
We do our best.
You do your best, Harry. You do. You do. It's absolutely wonderful to be able to come quite regularly to you because, as you know, I've got clients fairly close. But obviously you're primarily retail and you have a cafe, so both of those things were challenged very quickly during lockdown. And it's interesting that when I speak to people like yourself, Harry, it's quite easy to see. It would have been quite easy for you and for many people like you just to put your head in your hands and say, okay, that's it for now, or that's it, full stop. I'll put my head in my hands and just sit and wait, mothball, and not do anything. But what was your thought process when things started to go into lockdown, Harry?
Well, we had quite a quick changeover of people coming to the shop to our web orders naturally going up. So that had been going on for quite a while. Before lockdown was even mentioned, we were getting a lot of delivery orders coming in. So that's been a natural progression for quite a while. So I suppose no one ever talks about food retail closing. So that was never really something I kind of thought of. I was just going to stay doing what I was doing, change and adapt. And, I was like going to sit and have a plan of how we were going to change. And we've got a lot of web orders coming through. And then it just escalated very, very quickly. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's really. I think what would be really good for you to talk through what you're doing right now and how you came up with the idea. I know it's something that you have background in, but how you actually brought everything together, and perhaps you can explain to everybody what it is you're doing right now and how that's working for you.
Yeah. So about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was just having a thought of, could I do something for my regulars, like on a Saturday night from home for them to look forward to and kind of enjoy and try and distract them for an hour and a half. And so in my head, it was primarily for people that I know come into the shop regular. I've got their email addresses and, I can get in touch with them and go, we've got this going on and what have you. because we do quite a lot of tasting events in the shop. So it's like, you know, can we do something along those kind of lines? We'd seen a couple of people doing tastings, but sending out like 6 full bottles of wine for a couple, which to me just didn't seem kind of a reasonable ask. You know, like, I know some people would be tempted to do that, but for others, you know, that's quite a lot to send out. So I was like, right, so if we could do like a little tasting of 5 wines, 5 cheeses, would anybody be interested? So woke up that Tuesday, had the idea, put it on Facebook, and it was the most successful post I've ever put on Facebook. Just there, would anybody be interested?
Yeah.
It just went absolutely bananas. So before even really planning it, we just went, right, well, we'll put it live on the website. You can book tickets for this weekend and we'll figure it out. So that was Tuesday. So then by Wednesday morning, I had 45 couples booked on.
Wow.
It just the interest, the people just desperately looking for things to do. And that was just from Facebook. So that's people that follow us. So, you know, I've not really approached anyone new. It's just from people who've come in regular or liked our Facebook because they've been in before and then gone home wherever it is. So we sent out quite a few outside of York, which was really nice. So I was literally like, the Wednesday was like calling around everyone, like, what have you got 5 kilograms of in at the moment? What cheese have you got 5 kilograms? What wines have you got 3 cases of, you know, that I can have for this weekend? So it was a bit of a mad scramble to get that first one done and put together. And it was a huge success. People absolutely loved it. And so we did it immediately again, the week after. And we went from 48 couples on the first one to 150 couples on the second one.
Wow, that's 3 times as many.
It was mad. And so but we did it straight on the bounce. So it's the week after. So again, didn't really leave myself much planning. The first one, because what we did was we had a bottle of wine. We then decanted 1 bottle of wine into 4 portions.
Right. Yep.
So I had to find smaller jars to then decant into. So the first one, I was contacting my chutney makers and like jam makers. I was like, have you got any little 200 ml jars that I can nick? They were like, how many do you want? 120. So luckily one of my chutney suppliers had enough glass bottles for us for that first one.
Yeah.
So then the second one we did, so 150. So that 4 of the wines we decant. So then that's 4 times 150 little glass bottles that we needed.
Wowzers. Yeah.
With the plans to do further events. So I didn't really have any time to think or react. So I just ordered a pallet of little milk bottles, little 250. Yes. So 2,000 little milk bottles arrived that week on a pallet outside the front shop. So I think you can see on that picture, we're just straight onto a pavement.
Yes. Yeah.
So there was, a lot, the staff were suitably like, what have you done, Harry? But it was just one of those you kind of committed to. I was like, they sold out, 150 tickets sold out in 5 hours. I'm confident if I put other ones up. So we may as well, rather than have this stress, let's just get 2,000 milk bottles.
Yep.
So this weekend will be our 4th event.
Yep.
So we did the first 2 week on, week out. Then we moved to every other week.
Yep.
And so then, this weekend will be our 4th. And so we had 160 on the last one.
Yep.
And I've got 205 couples booked on this one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wowzers. And is that still just from your followers?
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't even get onto my mailing list or Twitter or Instagram, literally just on Facebook. And then each time we do a video, people are commenting going, because I do it live on Facebook, so it's not a private video. So people who don't have the kit tuned in. So I start getting messages whilst I'm doing the video, like, how do we get onto the next one?
Fantastic.
So it's just that thing saying about social and
yes.
and interactive. one of the things that I didn't consider before, but was really nice to see, was groups who'd all booked together, Zoomed together,
Yep.
whilst watching me.
Oh, okay.
So there was on the last one I know of 3 groups of people all Zoomed together, one of which had 7 couples.
Oh, lovely.
So they had one laptop open with a Zoom call with all the friends, and then on the other laptop or on a TV, they then had me broadcast, which technologically speaking was not the easiest thing because there was some lag. So I think they could kind of hear me at different points. You know, I wasn't synchronized. So there was, but they did it. And that's really nice that in each event that we've done, we've had those groups. We've had at least 2 or 3 big groups.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I guess that as you say, that's an addition. And if you're in a group of people, you probably just make do. It doesn't matter that.
Yeah, exactly. You're sat having a drink and you're having a chat to your mates and then tuning into this experience. So
it's absolutely lovely. I think I said to you, we have a virtual pub on a Friday night, and the guys, I actually brought cheese from you, and we did a cheese tasting last Christmas in the pub. But now, so I'm hoping to get them on. I don't think we'd manage this weekend, but pretty soon we'll get us all on, and we'll do the same thing.
I'm gonna have to release the next maybe 3 or 4 events, just to stretch it out so that people have a chance, because I've got so many people who miss out, and I've got people that have been on all 4 of them as well. That's been really, really nice to see.
It was interesting about repeat business that people would just want to keep doing it, because I guess it can become a highlight of a Saturday night. So that makes sense. So we've got a couple of comments, and I'm going to ask people to think about questions for you. But a couple of quick. I think there's a comment from a couple of people thinking, have you organised any sort of rinse and return for your bottles yet?
So especially on the local deliveries, they've been passing us a bag of cleaned bottles. So we've got plenty of coming back, which is nice. I just can't count on them coming back.
No.
So I needed, and especially the ones going outside of York, that's a little bit more complicated. But a lot of bottles are coming back, which is great.
Brilliant. Well, a couple of things I picked up from there that I think are really valuable to highlight, and hopefully people will put a couple of questions or more comments in. One was the power of market research. So you didn't have to have got everything ready. You didn't have to have bought your bottles or your cheese or your wine. You went on Facebook and said, if I do this, who's interested? So that cost you very little other than a post to find out. And
you'll know if people want it. It becomes very evident very quickly.
So for all of us, we could be just saying, if we were to do this, would you like it? We don't have to have marketing. We need to be able to answer reasonable questions and have a reasonable concept of it, but we don't necessarily have to have it done completely. For those of us that like perfection and like to be maybe have all the T's crossed and I's dotted, we don't need to do that.
No, and we've, like I said, it's escalated so fast. Even things like being able to label everything. We've figured it out as we've gone along. Like the first couple, we're so flat out. Like people get the 4 wines and 4 cheeses, and wines you can figure out what's the white and what's the rosé and what's the red. But with cheeses, when I do the broadcast, I'm like holding it up to the camera going, right, this is the next one, with a grey round and have to describe it. So we finally got around to labeling them on this one. So the fourth event. But people get around those, like rough around the edges, because they just want something to do. And the feedback has been overwhelming. Like the email saying thank you for doing this, that's amazing. Like to do something that people are just like, thank you, do more, please keep going.
Well done, absolutely brilliant. I've got there's another point I want to make, but I'll just another comment comes in. Perfect, just get them to use the bottles. That was about the refill, I think. No, that's great. Yeah, just about potential discount refill and stuff. The other thing I heard you say, which I think is really, really valuable for those of us that may be a little bit more perfectionist, was along the lines of Richard. I remember one of Richard Branson's favourite quotes, which is always say yes and then work out how to do it.
That was exactly it. It was,
Yeah.
I genuinely remember waking up and I was like, I wonder if I can do something for people. And that's where it came from. I never imagined it would become the new avenue for my business post lockdown, or, you know, have any significant impact. It was just, I wonder if I can do something for my guys that I kind of feel not responsibility for, but you get a bit of an affinity. Like I want to help them. I want to do something. And like, yeah. And it's really, snowballed, and loads of people saying post lockdown, there's loads of opportunity because, like for people that are, have young families, they were like, this is amazing. We can stay in, have a date night. We don't have to get a babysitter or go out into town on a Saturday night. They're absolutely loving it. And people who live kind of rurally, I was chatting to a guy who'd put in a separate order after doing the event. And he said, I love everything about the little village we live in. We've been here 10 years. I love everything about it except for Fridays and Saturday nights. £30 taxi each way into town, babysitter, then pay, you know, what you're doing on a night. He was like, this is amazing. You know, 20, 25 quid for me and for the missus, you know, 40, 50 quid for a Saturday night is amazing. So, and it's, for us, it's a really labour intensive job, cutting and wrapping that amount of cheese and decanting that wine. And that's why I think people get not scared of it, but it's like, it seems like it's a lot of labour, and it is, but that labour is the scale that we can do that we've never been able to do before. My capacity is 14 people in the shop. The most I've done outside of the shop was in a venue that I did 50 people. This is next level scale.
Brilliant. And I guess, I mean, you know, just looking to the future when we come out of lockdown, etc., is at the very least, this can be. I think the first thing was great was you focused on how you could help your clients, and I guess, you know, think about it. That was our move at Action Coach here, was let's just help as many people as we can, and good things will probably follow. But it wasn't a dependence, but that was great. So you did that. That was the key thing. How could you help people? And that's, you know, snowballed. And even if it feels like this is a massive opportunity the other side of lockdown, but even if it's a marketing process by which you're going to gain more and more clients for, and making them, educate them on the remote ordering capability. It's a wonderful thing.
Even an audience that might not have engaged online and now engaging online, you know, I don't want to, you know, generalize, but people of a certain age, you know, maybe not used to online ordering, but because it was really nice on the last one, we had two couples that opened Facebook accounts just to tune in. That they're not on Facebook, they've never done it, but they called their, you know, sons and daughters and got set up with Facebook just to tune in, because that's where I did it through. And so those kind of people who are not used to online ordering or, you know, doing things that way, that's going to be a real interesting shift as well. People are going to get kind of tech savvy quite quick, I think.
That's really interesting, because as I think I mentioned, one of the guys in our virtual pub's in his 80s, so getting him online was a bit of a challenge, getting him onto Zoom. But so, you know, but now he's on it, he's all over it, and he loves it to bits. So the idea of getting him involved with this would be wonderful, and he loves his wine and cheese, so that's going to work really well. So here's an interesting question that just comes to mind. One of the things we've said before, Harry, is if you were to start your business right now, what would it look like? Would you still have the shop?
I'm like you, Chris. I like people in front of me. Like I like face to face. That's what I've done. You know, whenever I've worked or whatever I've done, I'm interactive, and I thrive off a live audience, which is why the events side of the business is one of my favourites anyway. And so I think I would always have the shop and the cafe, because we have plans for the shop and cafe as well. That, I mean, you know, we want to expand and do more and use our hours better, you know, because we're licensed and what have you. So I think I will always have that. But I want this events side of it, the virtual side of it, to have its own legs almost. Not be separate from Love Cheese totally, but if there's going to be something in it, it needs to have its own brand almost, rather than just virtual wine tasting. I want it to be like the great big cheese and wine night in, or something along those kind of lines. And so it might have created another avenue that helps me with my plans for the shop. I don't know, but I am an interactive person, so I do like people in front of me.
Brilliant. No, I get that. I totally agree. And it's interesting that we do a lot of behavioural profile people. That the people side tends to be the outgoing people side that you are tends to be the more comfortable without the detail. So the ability just to go, heck, we'll just do it and then see what happens is probably comes with it too. Excuse me.
And I think the other point, last point I'd like to make as well, people who've got their own businesses might see other businesses that have this kind of opportunity that aren't doing it. And it might just be that people need a bit of a push or a bit of a hand, have you thought about doing this? How can I help? And it might not be related to what you're doing, but there'll be a lot of people who could do what I do. And because you could literally offer to take, I'll take the wine home and I'll decant it for you and bring it back, and we're keeping social distancing, and then, you're wrapping the cheese. This can be replicated, not easily, but, as long as someone's comfortable. How many people are doing pub quizzes like you're doing pub quizzes? Can't you create a beer box, a £20 beer box with 5 beers, and as part of your pub quiz, after each round, you try a new beer? It takes 15, 20 minutes to make, put the tasting notes together. The beers might cost you 10 quid, and then delivering it, what have you. Wines, same. If you do want to, we did not a private, but for a smaller group of people, he asked for 2 bottles of wine per couple with 4 cheeses. So they were doing less choice, but because they were buying in full bottles. There's a lot of opportunity that people would need help with, and they're so busy with what they're doing. My inbox has never been more full. So I've done that to myself with these events, but other people, might just need that nudge. You got a local brewery, say, let's do this. I'll do the pub quiz. I'll do the questions. You just make me 20, 30 boxes with all your beers in.
Brilliant. That brings something to mind, and you may have thought this already, but I know that one of the round tables in Leeds, they do a Call My Bluff cheese and wine. So they have 3 wines. They have a wine with 3 different things it could be. So 3 different panelists say it's Plummy Sauvignon Blanc. So there's quite an interesting thing that could be created as a game where whether that's you or people have a card and just say, is it this or this? And so it's almost a blind taste that you've got to work out which is which. Could be a bit of fun.
Yeah, there's loads.
Wonderful.
Loads of creative ideas going around.
Yeah, it's just brilliant. I just love the fact, and I think it's helped a few people, just a few comments coming through, that just that whole creativity, and just, let's think what could it look like? Let's just think of some ideas and just see how that might work. So, just sort of final thoughts. We're gonna see if there's anyone on the call that would benefit for some help. But and any final thoughts from that whole process? Any learnings that maybe you haven't raised so far that you've learned from doing this?
From me, Well, I know I've got a whole systems and processes day that I need to have on, figuring out how we do what we do. Because at the moment, my whole business is in my head. Like it's all, it's me. I do the events. I pick the wines and cheeses, and we've got staff that I couldn't do it without. They're wrapping and cutting and decanting and what have you. But I've got a lot of delegating to do. Otherwise, this isn't going to go as far as I want it to do. So that's my biggest thing now is delegating A, the jobs I don't like, B, the jobs I'm not very good at, and enable people to be able to do those and take on more. So that's our next bit is figuring out that and fine tuning it. Yeah.
Well, I know you're a member of Action Club. I think this week we're doing numbers and the sort of numbers mastery, but I'm pretty sure we've got systems coming up. So
Yeah.
make sure you get on that, and you
Look,
can make sure you got some stuff implemented.
luckily, like numbers,
Sorry,
one of the first things my dad ever told me when I was in business was like, have your numbers every month, know what your kind of profit and loss looks like every month. And I was like, you know, at a cafe and a young family, and I'm like, Dad, like, and he's like, do it, like, no choice, do your numbers every month. You know, bring them for me to have a look at. You know, if that's, you know, good enough excuse. But so we've always been quite good on that.
Great. No, absolutely key. I was working with someone this week, and they understood P&L, profit and loss, but didn't really see the relationship with cash flow and cash flow forecast. So that and we find that's true. Many people in business that it's not a function of how clever we are or anything. It's not something that you often do in outside of a business. So it's one of the key fundamentals of that. So look, so thank you so much, Harry. That's very inspiring. There's lots of great comments that come through about how inspiring that is, and some great lessons and learning and creativity and belief in trying something and just making it work. And for those of you that haven't, just to be clear, so Love Cheese, we can follow you on Facebook, and then you'll let us know about the next events that we can register for.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a mailing list, which will get a notice this time of the events, and then I will be releasing the next 4 events. So there'll be a lot more opportunity.
Great. Well, I'll make sure we put your details on the email that goes out after this event for anyone that'd like to come and have an evening with you on a Saturday night. That'd be wonderful.
Excellent.
So thanks so much. I won't unmute you. I won't mute you yet. I'm just seeing this. We're just going to go on and just see if any learnings from people, but also anybody got any challenges on pivoting or how you might take the same creativity into your business? Any questions or any comments? You don't have to. It's all good. But if we don't, anybody thinking that it's impossible? This is the challenge, is I think for many of us just think, well, it might work for Harry, but it won't work for me.
And pivoting seems like not an extreme word, but it can just be an evolution. Like you were saying earlier, it doesn't have to be a full pivot. Like I do events, like anyway, so I know that I know pairing wines and cheeses. It was just an evolution of an idea or something I already did anyway. So it wasn't it was a bit of a pivot, but it's not as full as that. It was a bit more of an evolution.
I think one of the things you did, and perhaps we need to add that into the process, is it's almost like an asset register. What assets do I have? And you already had the ability to do these evenings, because you were doing them. So it's how could I do them online rather than how could I do something totally different. So that fit. So you've inspired Deb. So the cogs are working in my mind right now for her eco business. So Debs, if there's anything we can help you with, as I said, we've got our gifted coaching session. So please take advantage of that, because I think the thing about creativity is it helps when people ask you questions in general. It's great if we can think it just ourselves, but it's even better that the mind, the brain actually functions 30% more effectively when people are talking about things than when they're just thinking about them. So you can get 30% more power from your brain by talking with someone about the ideas that you have. Great, Debs. Yeah, no, please be in touch, and please take advantage of the sessions, and please let other people know about these events. So, and we'll have a recording of this on our YouTube channel. So please, I think we'll be publishing this to a few people, because it's been very, very inspiring for many people. So thank you, Harry. I won't unmute you because we're just going to finish up. We might be having more questions and answers. So guys, make a note. 5 things you've learned today, or 5 things you're going to do most importantly differently in your business. As a thank you here, Harry. So thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
5 things. Please remember, we've got the gifted coaching sessions. We'd love to use these. A lot of people keep telling us they don't want to take advantage and stuff. That we love doing them, and ultimately they do. They do help people, and ultimately we know we're doing our bit to help. and we are getting over time, we're getting some good feedback from it and some good results and some benefit from it ourselves. So please do. These webinars are currently Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They're evolving every week, to use Harry's phrase quite rightly. So we're going to do a drop-in on a Monday, which is literally just come on board, talk about your challenges, listen to other people's challenges being solved. We're going to do online coaching. Typically the Wednesday, I think we're going to try and have a guest every week, and then Friday a bit of a wrap-up and a wrap-up of the situation with all the changes. We know we've just had these new loans announced for Monday, coming out on Monday, which sound really quite exciting, I think, for the smaller businesses to actually not have to go through this massive rigmarole that the banks are enforcing for the CBILS loan. So hopefully that's going to be pretty cool. So on that note, just before we finish, if you could let us know how you're feeling out of 10, maybe reference to where you were. I think we had lots of 8s. I know Harry was a 9. So if you just want to put how you're feeling and your number from where it's gone to where it is,